Hi, baby bats. I'm Becca, and I love dark gothic aesthetics and obviously vampires. And welcome to my channel. Hi, welcome to my channel and my first YouTube video. So, I'm 21 and I don't even really know what the hell I'm doing. I don't. I really honestly don't. I know everyone in their 20s is like figuring out who they are, without some form of, not structure, but kind of figuring out their own structure that they want for their life, I guess. And I really would like to document my journey of figuring out what I want my structure to look like, my life structure. I also really want to talk about my reading journey and books and maybe even some of the music I'm listening to. And yeah, I think I'm going to be calling it the Cadaverous Cryptic Chronicles. So, if you're interested in sticking around for that, subscribe and follow me on some of my other socials if you'd like. And now let's catch you up on what I already know so that we can be on the same page. What do we know? What do we not know? What do we want to learn? And all that stuff. So let's get into what I know already. So, what are my favorite hobbies? The first one, I would say, my first, my go-to hobby is reading, obviously. My current grimoire of the Senite, okay? The book of the week, the book of the day, is Tempting Venom by Rena Kent. That actually came out on the day I'm filming this. And I downloaded it on my Kindle at like 3 a.m. So that will be a reading vlog all in itself. Next week, I think. My second go-to, hobby, I would say, is listening to music. I love listening to music. I'll get into my favorite artists, like singers, later. We'll definitely get into that. I also really love writing. It's just one of my favorite things to do. I love writing, creative writing. I also really love scrapbooking. I kind of like not like a junk journal, but kind of the way that I do it. And I also love learning, but not like with deadlines and such. Like not in a school way. But like I love learning. I really do. I just love expanding my knowledge a lot. And I also sadly love doom scrolling as well. I just get sucked in. It's so bad. I'm working on it. I'm trying to read for a book first. I'm trying. It's not going well. But I think next we're going to discuss my favorite authors. So, my favorite authors. I think this one's kind of a given. I haven't shut up about Tempting Venom. But my number one at the moment is Rena Kent. I love the Legacy of God series. I have loved the books that are out right now for the Villain series. I haven't really gotten into the Venom series yet. I'm gonna read Tempting Venom today, so we'll get to that. And I'm gonna read it with you guys, don't you worry. The reading vlog for that will be coming out next week, I think. I hope. And then I'm gonna call my reading vlogs my midnight grimoires because I usually read darker books and I usually read at night mainly. So that's that. I also really love H.D. Carlton. Her books I loved. Haunting and Hunting Adeline. Those are such good books. They're definitely dark, and I wouldn't recommend them as like your first dark romance, but I loved them. I enjoyed them so much, and I wanted to give Adeline a hug. That's all I'll say about that. I also really liked Chantel, and please forgive me if I mess this up. Tessier, Tesser. I'm so sorry. I genuinely don't know how to pronounce that last name. Every time I read it, I'm like, I don't want to mess up her name. But I also have a few honorable mentions that I'd like to get into, like just touch on. Lay Rivers with the Little Stranger book, like duet. Kaylee Smith with Phantasma. C.E. Rusi, with Don't You Dare. Nyla K with For the Fans, and Misty Wilds with Begging for Mercy and The Price of Mercy. Oh my god, I loved those books. I think I read them earlier in the year. I loved them so much. And next, we're going to get into my favorite book genres. Okay, so my favorite book genres, right? I mainly eat up like romances and fantasy the most. That's just usually what I gravitate towards. But my number one book genre I would say is dark romances. I love a dark college romance like Legacy of Gods by Rena Kent. I loved God of Fury. I will never shut up about that book. I think my number two would be dark romantasy. Like, I would say like Phantasma. That one was so good. I loved that. I loved that one. I really dig a mystery thriller. Wait, this person did it. Wait, no, this one. No, oh my gosh, wait, it was that person moment. Love those. Sorry for my chair. My god. I also love literary fiction, especially if it has like a darker gothic theme or topic. I also love fiction books that cover like mental health stuff. Like, love it. I also really love contemporary romances, like sports romances, like hockey romances. I don't think I've really read many football romances, but yeah, like I also read contemporary romances. I don't reach for them the most. I would say I usually am more of a dark romance girly, but sometimes I want something light and fluffy. Give me hope for the world, you know? But next, we'll get into my favorite artists. Okay, so my favorite music artists at the moment, I would say my number one go-to artist on Spotify would be Nessa Barrett. She, Mother Vampire, Baby Cowboy, I love her so much. I saw her in concert in April I'm obsessed. I love her. My number 2, I think, would be Maggie Lindman. I also really am into Sabrina Carpenter at the moment, and I love um, Gracie Abrams' first album. I haven't listened to the more recent one or recent stuff. Like, I think it's called like Daughter from Hell or something, and I'm like, that sounds right up my alley. So I do want to listen to that. I haven't listened to that yet. And I also really want to catch up on um, Billie Eilish's like more recent stuff. I listened to her in like middle school and a little bit in high school, but I do want to get into that stuff. I also love EDM slash dubstep stuff. I also do listen to rap, but I don't really follow any specific like rap hip hop artists really. But my favorite EDM and dubstep artists are Subtronics and Ganja White Night. I love their music so much. And next, let's get into my favorite songs. So, my favorite songs at the moment, I would say, are mostly Nessa Barrett songs. The first one to come to mind, I would say, is Venom by Nessa Barrett and Black Haired Madonna by Nessa Barrett. I also love Till Death Do Us Part by Nessa Barrett. And I think my number 4 spot would have to be Angel by Massive Attack and Horace Andy. I think number 5 for me would be Grave by Nessa Barrett. And then 6, I think, would be Bang Bang by Nessa Barrett. 7, I think, would be Heartbreak in the Hamptons by Nessa Barrett. And then 8, I think, would be I Wanna Die by Nessa Barrett. And then the last 2, I think, would go to Sabrina Carpenter, with 9 being Couldn't Make It Any Harder, and 10 being Emails I Can't Send by Sabrina Carpenter. So good. So good. I don't even know how to say, like, how to put it in words. Like, I love it. Holy cow. So, artists I want to start or continue listening to, in the sense that, like, I haven't been keeping up with their recent stuff, or, like, I haven't listened to, like, their old stuff. One of these artists is, Maggie Lindman. I really want to listen to some more of her older stuff. I think I listened to her most recent 2 albums, but I want to listen to some more of her stuff as well. I want to deep dive into Isabel LaRosa's albums and stuff, so I want to get through those. I also want to listen to The Neighborhood. Start listening to like more of their albums. Like, I listened to like Flawless and like Afraid and Sweater Weather, but I want to get into more of their music, not just like their more popular songs. The lesbian in me craves Clairo and The Girl in Red, so I want to start listening to more of their stuff because just my inner lesbian needs it. And then Ella Bow and Ari Abdul, I really want to start listening to them as well. They just seem to have like a vibe that matches mine, and like I feel like their music would be really good to listen to. And then I also want to listen to some of Billie Eilish's like more recent stuff. I listened to her in like middle school and high school, but that was about it. So I want to keep listening to that. And next we'll get into my TV shows and favorite TV shows and movies. So my top 3 TV shows. Number 1, I would say, goes to Heated Rivalry. I am so excited for season 2. I've rewatched season 1 so many times. Obsessed. Like, seriously obsessed. I still get edits of them on TikTok, and I love Hudson Williams. I love Connor's story. They were amazing. Love them. And then I think my next favorite show, emphasis on show, not the character, the show, BoJack Horseman. I felt so understood and I loved the characters. I love the mix of comedy and like deep emotionality. It just really spoke to me. I love it. And then I think my last show, like that's in my top 3, I would say, would be Rick and Morty. They're so funny. So funny. I also would love to add like an honorable mention here, and that's like Bob's Burgers. So funny. So funny. Also, an honorable mention of TV shows, WandaVision. That show was so well done. But let's get into my top 3 movies, okay? Top 3 movies. The number 1 spot I can never rewatch. Avengers Endgame. It destroyed me emotionally, and I just can never rewatch it. That one is like a once and done for me because just the original like core Avengers cast really was amazing to me. I loved it. And I just don't know how Marvel is planning or trying to top that because like that's top tier cinema. I don't want to say peak, but top tier. And then I think my number 2 spot goes to movie 1 and 2 of the Pitch Perfect like universe. That's not it, but you know what I mean. The Pitch Perfect movies with Anna Kendrick and all of them. I love those movies. I still listen to the soundtrack. Oh my goodness, love those movies. And I think my number 3 spot goes to the Black Widow movie. I don't know if that's a controversial take, but I loved it. So the question of what do I know has been answered, but that leaves another question unanswered. What do I want to learn? And at my young age, so much. But I would really like to take you guys on the journey of self-discovery of while I figure out what makes me who I am. What do I want to do with my life and the time I have left? Who do I want to be and how do I get to who I want to be? And I would love if you guys want to join me on the journey. Thank you so much, baby bats, for watching. If you stayed until the end, thank you so much for hopping out of the coffin and saying hello. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. As a fellow introvert, I really do appreciate it. And I'll be back next week, Wednesday/Thursday, for a Tempting Venom reading vlog, or what I'm calling my Midnight Grimoires. And I'll see you for the first installment of the Cadaverous Cryptic Chronicles soon. Hugs and kisses, baby bats. Bye bye.